Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. There's a holiday in the US today, but I thought I would work anyway. I mean, who wouldn't want to work on a Monday morning? So, the S&P daily chart here. So let's just, it obviously appears that the correction is over. We were looking at because there were wave fours, we were looking at two different types of corrections, but the strong move up here really identifies it as being impulsive. So what we can do, just to give you a view of the bigger picture here, and obviously nothing set in stone, of course, but we'd be looking for wave one up here, right? And then wave two to pull back. How far it pulls back is a bit of a mystery. It could pull back and cover the gap. It could be a shallow pullback. We don't know, but we'll be looking for a certain pattern. And once we've got that pattern, then we can enter on that. But that would be wave one, two, and 3, 4, 5 here for wave one, and then we would have an ABC pattern, and then all of this here would make wave one, and then would be going up for wave 3, 4, and 5 up here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, ABC for 2, and so on to the upside. Okay, so let's go to the 15-minute chart and see where we're up to on this. So let me just drag this in here. So this is the top over here, and this is the correction that we've been sort of working through, and now we're going to view this here as wave one to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. Now I don't know if a top is in place here yet. It looks okay as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, but we'll just see. I'm in no rush, so we'll just wait for the next session. So we do need to confirm a top. So this top could be over here a little bit further, so we need to confirm that top, and like I said, what we're really looking for is this ABC correction here. Now the 6,000, obviously, psychologically it's a big numbers, lots of zeros. It will attract a bit of attention. So I don't feel like we're going to be going anywhere that quickly. We've just really arrived at that point. And as usual, the most common pattern that we normally look at is this one here. So we've just arrived here in a way. So we could another high and this pull. So we kind of want to be over this side of the fence on all of this. So let's just see how this goes. But we're looking for an ABC pattern, and we'll be looking to go long above that, if this is an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, we want to go along above that. How far it pulls back, that's the 50-60%, retracement level, which is down here further. It could pull that far down. Normally there's two resistances, supports, in a market in that would have this block here, and then we would have this lower block here where it would be stretching itself a little bit at that point. So they could be either, just depending on the sentiment of the market at the time. So we just need to basically confirm a top and then work down from the top and look at that B wave at that at that point. Okay, so we'll go and have a look at the NASDAQ now. So much the same with the NASDAQ here. In this case, we can look at this as a bit of as the impulse wave to the upside. Once again, we're looking for, if I could just draw this out here, as 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 here for 5 waves here, then an ABC. That all of that will make wave 1, and then we'll have wave 3, 4, and 5. Pay no attention to the prices. I'm drawing this out here. I'm just giving you a mud map of what we're where we're going, so to speak. So that will be that. Let's go to the intraday and check on that. So we've got let me just get this in here. So that's all of our correction here, and we're looking at this as an impulse wave to the upside. And let's get in a bit more data here. Once again, I don't know if that's a top. There could quite easily be another top coming into this top over here, but far as I'm concerned, I'm not prepared to sort of chase that top. This range here was quite strong. This gap was quite strong. Even though that this was strong here, this range here is smaller than this one here. So it is telling me that within this little impulse wave here that that we're sort of slowing down. We've got 21,500. The 500 will be important. This high here will be important as well. So we just need to be a little bit grey-haired about this and let it you know, pull back, and then we'll step on the bus and we'll go to the next bus stop, so to speak. This wave 3 here that we want to catch, you know. So we'll fill in these entry numbers and stop numbers a little bit later, but generally when that gets triggered here, then we can bring the stop there. But initially we'll have the stop lower, and then we can halve our risk at that point. So that's kind of, you know, the first step in getting to break even and getting that free trade. Obviously there's no real free trade. Yeah, so that's that. Let's head over to the stock, and the first one is Apple. So yeah, whoops daisy, I should have put that on the daily chart first. Beg your pardon about that. Just to get some, gain some sort of perspective here, and I'll just hide that mess under the bed. And so yeah, look, I just don't think this is quite finished yet. Quite possible, but there can be, you know, look, the bottom line is we're either finished here, right, or we've got a little bit further to go down here. You know, as I mentioned before, there's you know, there's plenty of support coming in around, you know, the 230 here, which is the top of group 1, which is number 3, which is really important. And it can come down further, but you know, it's coming deeper into all of this demand here. So once this is sort of done here, then we can expect a, you know, a move up here higher. We're just not quite sure just yet on this, but let's just go in and have a look at that. That's our move down here. And you know, when you get moves like this, you can count them in different ways. So if you've got a different count and you haven't broken any laws or anything like that, well then that's fine, you know, you're still a free man or woman. So yeah, like I said, I don't know if I need to put the low in right here and we can look at this sort of starting to the upside, or you know, the general thing with the markets at this stage, and you know, take that with a pinch of salt, is to have a move up in the markets and then a move down. So we're looking for an ABC in the you know, in the S&P in that. So I'm thinking something like this here. But you know, I'm also not going to be too fussed about it. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't, you know, there's that's lapping with this wave 1 here. But you know, the thing is that we'll just allow it to play out. You know, I don't have a clean impulse wave to the upside, which we need. So yeah, we'll just leave this for the time being. Okay, let's mosey on over to Amazon. So as Amazon here, we've also got, you know, a move like the NASDAQ and the S&P here. And yeah, I mean, I've got this at wave 4, 1 degree lower here. But anyway, it doesn't really matter at this point, you know, rather than having it as a primary wave 4, I've got it as an intermediate wave 4. But the same story here is, you know, we're heading up to the 250 here and beyond. So we need some setups here. So this is also the 230 is the top of group 1 here. So we definitely want to be building in on top of this is what we're going to be doing as well. We've got, you know, our first little move up here. So let's just move in and have a look at that. Okay, well, yeah, we already took a little trade above here, and we'll keep the stop out of the way for a moment. I have to say that the little leg to the upside here, I'm not quite sure about it with this little gap in it. So I mean, I could look at it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, or I could just look at it as 1 up here and pulling back for 2 here. So our green trade that's in the green here will end up being in the red, but I'm okay with that. All I'm saying is that I don't know the best way to count this particular move up here. You know, this particular pattern from this top here coming down here, in a lot of cases that was wave 1 and 2. in the, you know, in the S&P and the NASDAQ, but it's broken this low here, so we can't use it. So this, yeah, there's, you know, so I'll just chill. It'll fall into play. I'm okay with it at the moment. So I'll just leave it at this for the time, for the time being. Over to NVIDIA here. Joel has put the name up here now and the time frame that we're in, which is fantastic. So yeah, in this case, an A and a B and a C. A little bit sort of weary of this one because I haven't really made a new low below this area here on this. So that's a little bit of an issue. So let's go to the 15-minute chart here and check on this. So if we consider this a low here and the move up here, you know, we could look at it as a leading diagonal to the upside here in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this little thing here appears to be corrective, so I think we can push up here, and then we'll be looking for an entry above the B wave. That would be the go. Now, as always, when the top comes into play and it pulls back down here, then this entry starts on top here, and you know, because if it just goes up unexpectedly, at least you'll be sort of on, you know, on the bus. Otherwise, once you've done that, then we can bring it down to the B wave, and then we could also try to find an entry further down into this little leg building up here in the first little impulse wave. So we'll try to improve on that entry for this, but in a bit of a nutshell, it looks like we've got the low in, we've got some dodgy sort of first wave to the upside. We're looking for the B wave pullback. We're going to try to get in here. We're going to start from the top. So we're approaching it as practically as possible. Okay, so let's just go back to the daily chart here. So now we've got Meta here, and you know, we've got this little triangle pattern that, you know, that are put into place here. So the wave 4 here is also lower than this previous one over here. So I don't know if we need to play this out from the top here as the A wave, the B wave, the C wave, the D wave, and the E wave here, as I've been talking about, and bring this over to here. I'll introduce you to both cases now on the intraday chart, and what sort of strategy that we're going to play out with this. So this is the correction here, and we can put this in here as a WXY sitting on this low here for that, a WXY here, and have that sort of truncated somewhat, or we'll have to look at it as a triangle pattern, which of course would be the A wave, the B wave, C wave, D wave, and E wave down here, and then we go up. Okay, now in this particular instance here, the triangle pattern's not going to be much different from the rest of the market, because the NASDAQ and the S&P are pushing up in wave 1, and then they're going to come back, and I expect a little sort of move up first and then the ABC. So it's kind of going to be the same. We're still going to end up with this B wave here that we'll be looking for. So I don't want to chase any move up here. If it moves up here, it's going to hit supply over here and come back, and this is also group 1 as well, so we will get a classic trading levels pattern here. We will get a first high here above the level like we did over here with that, and then we can use that as the entry and then move it down at that point. The other thing that I want to talk about here is this number here, the 650 65 numbers, a medium level, and it's going to carry a little bit of weight with it. But the good news is that around the 620 here, or the 618, it's going to be plenty of support. Once the market gets up there and comes back and tests all of this here, there's going to be lots of support here. So if we can get a position in here with reasonable timing and the stop out of the way, keeping the stop out of the way, you know, here until this number becomes a tested support, and then we're going to start building in on top of that as well. If we can get 2 positions in here, one on the retest a little bit later, we'll do that as well, but we'll start with 1 and then we'll see how we can build from that point. Okay, so let's just cruise on to the next one. So now we've got Netflix, so put that to the side, and yeah, I'm sort of, I'd like to call a low in here, and I think that's okay. But I can also count this, I mean, I can count this down as 5 waves, but when you think about it, I mean, I'm just being devil's advocate here, because if you're going to go long, you need to know what the short count is, okay? So because we've got 5 waves in wave C here, this could be a 3rd wave down with a wave 4 coming back to the 38.2%, and then having another move down, a little bit like Apple. So we've got to be a little bit careful on this one. So let's just go to the 15-minute chart. I mean, the beauty about this in a way, though, is that, let me just put this in. So we've got this nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for here, 1 and 2, bit of a dodgy 3rd wave, but this last structure here is quite clean and tidy. So we've got our 5 waves there, and if we were looking for, you know, instead of a C wave low here, if we're looking for a if we're looking for a, you know, 3rd wave here, the 38.2% retracement level is right on where that is at the moment, you know. So if it's going to fail, it's going to fail from here, and it's not like we've got the best looking impulse wave to the upside here. It looks like we've got 3 waves up, and then it looks like we've got 5 waves down here. So until that top gets taken out, which I'm hoping it will, I'm sort of I'm in hope land of sort of seeing a move here and then some sort of ABC pattern, you know, coming back and then moving up. And if that's the case, then we can build over here. So, you know, I mean, sometimes you get a beautiful impulse wave off the low here and life is rosy, and other times it's, you know, I don't need to put any negative words in, but you know what I mean. So there. So, but one of the things I like about the ABC pattern here is that this makes quite a nice little ABC pattern here in wave A here. I'm sure you could probably try to get it in 5 waves. I get it, but it looks like 3 waves here, and then a what's the name correction here, and then this move down here. So it looks corrective here. So that's good. So anyway, we've got a little bit more work to do, and you know, this could pop up and cover that gap here, right, and then drop down again. So I'll just want to sort of let it see it, you know, wiggle and squiggle for a little bit there, and then we'll pick it up at that point. So let's move on to the next one. So we're over at Google now, and with Google here we've got ourselves a wave 4 here as well, and once again it's lower than this one over here, so kind of got to be a little bit mindful about that. This one hasn't taken out the top here, and we know wave 4s can get a bit ugly, but yeah, all in all I think it's sort of okay-ish at this point. And it's not going to go very far because this is a major level here, so we're going to end up getting a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, then we're going to get an ABC back quite deep, and then we can go up again. So in a way we're going to be looking at this pattern here, you know, we'll be going up here in 5 waves. So what this will become wave 1 in this case, and then wave 2 coming back, and then this over here. I mean, we could get a variation of that, we could get that. So we'll be mindful of those particular patterns. But this number here, this 200 here, will be, you know, as you can see, it's holding the market. So it will continue to play out across here. So it's probably, you know, I never really find it the best trade to work with when you're in this position. You normally trade to here, get out, and then you can normally trade up here, which we're going to do. And then the next step from, you know, from here to here is to look for some sort of ABC, and then move in from here and moving up here. That's the part, because then I'll know that trend here has been rebalanced as well at that point. So we'll just see how that plays out. So because this hasn't made a nice low down here on this, it makes it just means that we need to be a little bit sort of more cautious in this area here. And we do have a reasonably nice impulse wave to the upside here on this. So if I look at this, it's a WXY here, but you know, I mean, it sort of come back down to this one, and this one fell out of bed here. So I'm kind of okay with it, you know. I could put wave 1 over here on this. I could put wave 1 here, by the way, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I get that, but I kind of want to line it up with the other ones, and then I can put it here, and then when I put it here, I've got this little spike here. So then, but if I ignore the spike, then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could have a top in there, but if I have to include the spike as 1 and 2, then this will make a third wave and a fourth wave, and then I've got to bring this one over to here, you know. But I still don't have this ABC back, whichever way I want to look at it. So not that interested in it. I want to see if we get a bit of a pullback and see, you know, do it then. And like I said, we're be banging ahead against the 200 here anyway. So buying up here is it's really not the best thing to do, but the reason I'm doing it for is because we've got a corrective pattern here. You know, I would never do it in here when we first arrive here. I wouldn't be bothered. I'd just don't do that, you know. But because we've got this, you know, markets are trends and corrections of different degrees, and the idea is to get into where the trend is being engineered from, and that's always a corrective pattern. So that's where we're trying to make a move from. So that would be that. So the next stock that we'll be looking at will be Microsoft. So Microsoft here, and this is you know, this one here has got me sort of like a I can't figure it out basically. There's a few options for it. With most of the other markets, we're looking at, you know, wave 4s being in place. I could put wave 4 over here for this as well. That's also doable, but once again, it hasn't come below here. But all I'm going to do at this stage is I'm just going to look at this. Just going to remove this here, put it in no man's land. This little move up here is impulsive. I could count this down as 5 waves here, but wave 4 here overlaps wave 1, so that's not that keen on that. So I can count it down as being corrective. So anyway, we'll see. What I would like to do, as I've always sort of mentioned, is that this is the 400 here, and this is group 1 here, 1, 2, and 3. So I wanted an impulse wave with a classic trading levels pattern at that 430, and we're getting it. We're not fully there, but we're getting it. So that's what we're going to focus on with this. So let me get some of this data in here. So I've counted this down here as, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here for this. And most of the other markets can push up. So I'll just let that do that. You know, let it sort of play out a little bit. Don't worry about this here. I've just got this here sort of ready, but I'm sort of looking for, you know, a bigger 5 waves up here, and this being the first one. And as a first wave here, it's not really the best. I could put, you know, I could put that on top of there, but it's a bit spiky. I could put it here. I don't want to get an extra little move up here and get trapped up here and then go through this. So I just want to allow that some space here. When this pulls back, we'll probably look at this as wave 1 up here with an ABC back for wave 2, and then we'll build in here, or take that top out here, or that top, or build in on group 1, those type of things. Okay, so we're getting there. We just got to kind of let this sort of top and turn a little bit in there. So that's sort of where we are for this market, and let's move on to the next market, which I think is Tesla. So with Tesla here, we've got little wave 4 playing out here on this. So we've been looking at this as 1 and 2 here, and then we're looking at 1 and 2. This is the 400 here. This is also group 1 here, that 430. So getting the 430 as a tested support is important, because as a tested support, then it separates itself being pulled by a larger number, the 400 in this case. So let's go in and check on that. So this is it here. I'm going to bring in some more data here. So we were looking at this being a nice ABC pattern here for wave 4. I can just put that in there properly. This wave 4 here, and then going up for wave 5 here. So we've got this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. I'm not quite sure, but I'm not too fussed with the pattern because all the patterns up are a little bit dodgy. And I also need to be careful too, by the by, is that, as I mentioned before, all of this down here as wave A here, this could also be some sort of A wave, B wave and C wave here. So all of this becomes the A wave, a B wave and then a C wave down here. I've got to be a little bit careful about that. So we'll just, I don't think it's the case, but you know, I've got to point it out and I've got to be aware of it, you know, and we need to sort of manage that a little bit. We talked about going long above this one and above the top here, so just put that there and keeping the stop out of the way below the 400 here. But when we're using a stop here, just to go back over this, is that we normally wait for the first low below the level and then we put the stop there. And a lot of times the market will come down, hit the level, bounce back and then go down and do that and then do this here. Now, it's not to say that it can't come down further, but just using that technique there is going to save you a lot. You know, it's like waiting for this one over here. So don't put it on the 400. It's always below that. You can still get stopped out, but it'll save you a few times, you know, enough to, you know, keep you sort of happy. So we're looking for basically a classic trading levels pattern on the 430 to have a long trade at this point. Okay, so it's the same, you know, pretty much the same at this point. So I'm just thinking this is, you know, it looks impulsive to the downside here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if the low's in place, but we're going to have, we'll end up having, grab that there a little bit closer. Anyway, it'll be like this here. That's the A wave there at the moment. We put that B wave on and push that up there. I can push this. How far this comes down, it doesn't matter. Anyway, you get the picture. So we can go long above the top there on this one because we've got that impulse wave down there, so meaning it probably won't come down. So we're looking for the B wave, and then we'll try to improve. We'll try to improve on that. Okay, so it's moving along quite nicely. So let's move along and have a look at Bitcoin is the next one. I think I also want to have a look at MicroStrategy as well, because it's quite nice as a wave 4, and it's also a bit of a Bitcoin play as well. Okay, so this is MicroStrategy, and I wanted to show it before, you know, I want to show it because we're looking at Bitcoin, but also for stocks as well, because this is one of the nicer this is one of the nicer patterns here, because we can see that the move down here is in 3 waves for the A wave, and then we've got the A, the B, and the C wave here, and then we've got 1, 2, 3. Little 4 in here and then down for 5. So we've got a beautiful ABC pattern here. So we can look at this as being moving this up here. We can look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and you know, moving up here. So we're going to enter this at 401 here. But I just wanted to show that this is one of the best wave 4 patterns that I've seen, because a lot of the tech stocks we've been looking at, they're all a little bit sort of warped, but this is a nice one that appears to be completed. Yes, it is possible that we could view all of this down here as an A wave and then up for a B wave here and then down for a C wave here. That's the nature of wave 4s. I get it. But as it stands, this is, you know, looking quite good here in this instance. Okay, so we're over to Bitcoin here, and this is a daily chart, and we're looking at wave 3 and 4 here, and then pushing up higher here for this. So we need to understand this trend here. So we'll go to I won't go into the bigger picture at the moment for this. We'll just go to the 15-minute chart here. So just bear with me for a second while I squish this up here. You know what I might do? I think I'll just put this in here. I might just go to the 2-hour chart here for a moment, because it's just a little bit sort of like we can see just a little bit clearer just for a moment. So in this instance here, we've got wave 4 here, as you know. So we've got a nice little 5 waves up here for 1 and 2. So I'm going to look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and then the 3rd wave here, the 4th wave here. This could be this may not be as good up here, but look, we can put that there. We're still looking. I'll put this as the worst case scenario, so I'm tightening it up here, right? So all of this here for wave 1 up here, and give you a bit of an idea for wave 2. How far wave 2 pulls back, I don't know, but we'll leave it there for the time being. So we're looking for something like this here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 and 2, and then we move further up. So we're at the 100,000 here. So we normally look at group 1 having a top in there, so we can look up around the 120 to 130. I mean, it can finish it at 110 here anyway, it can finish at 10, 20 or 30 normally, you know, so that's where it is. Could it just keep on going to the upside? Well, anything is possible, but as always, I just tend to look for this particular pattern here, right? And where I see ourselves at the moment, we've had, this is the 100,000 across here. 1 is the strongest number. We've had wave 4, and then we're looking for 5 waves up here that normally go into group 1. It can be 10, 20 or 30. It can go above group 1. That's okay. If it finds a tested support on top of group 1, 130,000, then it's not coming back to this number here. So if it doesn't find a tested support on 130, then it'll be coming back. If it finds a tested support here, then it'll keep going, because parabolic moves are parabolic moves, and you know, you need to go with them, but we need to know at what point that's going to be true. And for me to understand that in my little world, that 130 there, the number 3 as top of group 1, that needs to become a tested support. So otherwise this will be the case here, right? And we could come back below this here, can come back below this one, by the way, as well. So I know it is what it is. But anyway, it's just people's opinions, aren't they? So, you know, not a big deal. But in the meantime, we're tracking this impulse wave to the upside. So yeah, it's looking quite good, I think, at this point. So we can expect all the Bitcoiners, including myself, will be happy to see it go up there. I mean, obviously it's going to be shying from this little high over here, and that's what it's doing at the moment. So because I can see I could count this as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here, one more little high, and then wave 4 to come in play, and then wave 5 here, another test of that, you know, that supply there, and then have that 1, 2, which kind of makes a bit of sense, really, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? The behavior of what can occur here, the actual behavior of it. You know, some sort of wave 4 here, and then some sort of wave 5 here, and then being sold off at that point. How far this comes back, it can come back to the 61.8%. You know, it'll come back with the NASDAQ in that, and then moving up. There's a lot of stocks that you'll notice in the market, and we're seeing them in Australia as well, we're having 5 waves, you know, moving up here in the pullback. So we'll try to catch this 3rd wave in most of those stocks. Alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. Thank you for tuning in. Cheers.